Next up, I want to go into the Castaneda Sorcery tradition. I discovered the Castaneda series when I was probably 20 years old or so and in college. And these were the books themselves kind of ended up giving me a number of different spiritual experiences. And then as I practiced many, if not all, of the practices listed in those books, the ones that I was able to, there's some very advanced practices I still haven't gotten to, then I started having the type of spiritual, mystical experiences that I wanted. And for me, that was a really big deal and kind of helped in my thinking and what I'm trying to present, that these techniques of these traditions should cause a spiritual experience. And if they don't, then you may need to toss them. That's their value. That's how you know if they're functional for you, is if they're giving you the experience that matches your definition of what a spiritual experience is. Again, I am not an expert. And what I want to say is, for all this stuff, if you want more knowledge, go read the top books on these subjects. That I'm trying to present an idea that spiritual practices need to create an experience for you, and that it's okay to try different ones, modify them on your own until you're getting the results that you want. Within the sorcery tradition, there are a couple of really foundational practices for beginners, which I certainly still am. Even after practicing this stuff for probably 20 years, I still consider myself a beginner. Maybe I'm headed towards intermediate. I hope that would be nice. With the main practices that are presented in the books, and that you'll find, I think one of the best resources for this stuff is the Castaneda subreddit on Reddit. We have some people in there who were actually taught by and around the Carlos Castaneda and the other main teachers, Taisha Abelar and Florinda Donnergrau. And what they all advise is the practices of recapitulation and tensegrity. There's some other ones called stalking and dreaming, but those have some various rates of success based on people's natural inclinations and energetic makeup. But with the first one, recapitulation being a practice wherein you're going to go back through literally, your goal is to go back through all of your experiences from the past, everything you can remember, all of the people you've ever met. The goal is to go through all of your experiences while doing a breathing method, which is as follows. As the head goes to the left, I'm inhaling. And as the head goes to the right, I'm exhaling. And as I'm doing that, I'm going through my memories. And whichever way you want to do that, some people go through it chronologically. Some people go through it via everybody they've ever known that they can think of. Some people will just go when a new memory comes up of something they haven't thought of in a while, immediately doing recapitulation to that memory. For sorcery, this is a technique that helps to take back the energy that we left in those interactions and to maybe let go of some energy from somebody else that's still kind of within us. Tensegrity is a practice that is done in a completely dark room. It is a physical movement practice. There are sets of physical movements that, when done, can yield certain actually visible to the eye effects, actual energetic or other effects that you can actually see, the power of the tensegrity seems to increase as more and more recapitulation is done, and we're able to let go of the inner dialogue, let go of that discursive thinking that we've been talking about in so many of the other lineages and practices. And that when that is let go, a phenomenon called stopping the world happens, where our perception of reality is fundamentally different than the way that we're typically experiencing it. If that stuff sounds good to you, I would highly recommend giving it a shot. I would highly recommend trying it and seeing if it has any kind of ability to trigger that experience for you. Quickly, I want to talk about dreaming because within the sorcery tradition, their tradition of gaining lucidity in dreams is a really important one. What I can say is that I've had barely any success in that. So I'm not really the person to try and teach that stuff. If that's interesting to you, check out the Art of Dreaming, check out the Castaneda subreddit, ask some questions about it. Maybe you already have some talent in being lucid in a dream. I've worked for many years and only had a handful of actual success there. So I know the stuff does work. It's just, I just wanted to present it here so that in case you want to try it, you can. Or you can do more research on it from other people who know more about it. The last area would be stalking, which is a method of changing how you're perceiving by becoming other people. And what I mean by becoming other people, I mean that it's almost like the method acting taken to the furthest degree, where some actors report that when they fully use method acting to become that other person, that they feel different, that they are other people, that it feels like a complete shift in their perception while they're playing that other person. And that within the sorcery tradition, stalking is kind of their version of that, of being able to change what they call the position of your assemblage point. And that as the assemblage point changes, how we perceive changes. Okay? Again, this is not an area that I am an expert in. What I can tell you is that for me, some of the techniques, the foundational techniques of sorcery training work for me. They really do produce an effect that I would call related to spirituality based on my own definition. All right.